Good morning. Welcome, welcome. My name is Jessica Pierce, and I am so excited to be here with you today. If you have not yet, please open up the chat and say hi. Just drop in where you're calling us from and maybe give a little bit of insight on what kind of work you're looking for. And of course, your name, especially if your name isn't on the title of when you jumped into the call. So I am the founder and CEO of Career Connectors, and I am so excited to be here with you today. Also, I get the pleasure of being our keynote speaker once a year. And so this year, it's this event. I'm going to be kicking us off. And then I have a really good friend of ours, Justin Jones, that will be speaking also today. So Career Connectors is all about helping you build a strong career. And so we do that through these events. We have a whole bunch of other services as well, but these events happen every single month. And our role is to provide resources, encouragement, and connections to help you move to your next position. So what I would like to do, now that you're in the chat, good morning, good morning. Thank you all for talking in the chat. But if you haven't, open it up. And I want to kind of get a pulse on who we have in the call today. If you are actively looking and you're an active job seeker looking for your next job, could you drop a 1 in the chat? If you are you're kind of thinking about a new career, or you're working, but you're not really sure, you're consulting, or you're not really sure you're looking for, drop a 2. That would be kind of more passive. And if you are a volunteer or a community support person or a speaker or someone here to help with the event today, drop a 3. So 1, if you're an active job seeker. 2, if you're kind of like, hey, I'm not sure, I'm looking, but I just want to learn today. And a 3, if you are a community support. 1.5, I love it, Alan. Okay, great, 1.5. Okay, Melanie, great. Thank you. So we have a mix today on the call, a lot of active job seekers, also people that are kind of looking maybe for a new career. This is fantastic. So thank you for putting that in there. That helps us understand who is on the call and how to best support you today. So as far as display goes, typically the best display for this event is what is called speaker view. And so if you on your screen can go over to the right-hand side, you can usually see it through a drop-down, and there is speaker view is one of the options. Speaker view will put the PowerPoint presentation and then whoever is speaking both on the screen at the same time. So that is a great way to watch the call. Closed captioning is available. If you click on that button at the bottom of your screen, you can see that as well. And let's see, what else? Breakout rooms. I do want to mention breakout rooms. So we will have a couple speakers, and then at the end of the call, well, around 10:30 Mountain Standard Time, we will have breakout rooms available to you. And what that is where we get a whole bunch of volunteers. We have the speakers from today and different resources in breakout rooms. So you can hop around and talk to somebody about your resume, your LinkedIn profile. You can ask questions. We have a finance person here. So make sure you stay on the call for that. You will not see the breakout rooms option until 10:30. So we can't launch them until they're live. So that's when you will see them later today. All right, so here is our agenda today. I will be kicking us off and moving into the Job Activate 2025 and talking about your job search plan. And then I'll be handing it off to Justin Jones. He's going to talk about AI, artificial intelligence, for your job search and how you can work smarter, not harder. And he has some great tools available for us as well. And then we'll break it out with some resources, and then we'll do the breakout rooms. And the breakout rooms, again, will come around 10:30, and you'll be able to move into various breakout rooms at that time and talk to different volunteers and coaches. And so let me just check a couple other things, make sure I mention everything. Make sure you're staying active in the chat. That is the place for you to ask questions. We have everyone on mute so we don't disrupt the content of the call. but you can ask questions. We have our great team of volunteers and resume writers and LinkedIn coaches and speakers that are monitoring the chat. And so we'll be responding and answering questions. While we're speaking, it's kind of difficult to answer questions while we're speaking, but we'll be answering them after, like I'll be answering them after I get done speaking most of the time. I'll watch it here and there as well. So ask all the questions you want in the chat. I would love for you all to drop your LinkedIn URL in there too. Kitty just dropped it, and Kitty Carlisle is one of our coaches. So if she's answering your questions, she is legit. Take whatever she says to heart. She's a great LinkedIn writer. And Denise Gredler is on. Good morning. Denise is also, she's one of our community partners. And so she is also in the chat answering questions. Great. So if you could drop your LinkedIn URL, and I'm going to just put the instructions on how to do that in the chat as well. And so you all can see. The reason we do the LinkedIn URL is because this is a virtual event. And with virtual events, it's really difficult to network. And so we know that networking through LinkedIn is one of the best ways for you to connect to your next job. So we encourage you to go ahead and do that and connect with each other on the call on LinkedIn. So, all right, you guys, I think that's all the pre-stuff I wanted to go through. Yep. All right. So thanks again for being here today. If you are just joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so glad you're here. You will be getting an email after the event today that will have a link to this webinar. We're recording it. So a link to the webinar and also a whole bunch of resources, including a couple attachments that Justin and I have for you after today. So welcome to Job Activate 2025, your job search plan. My name is Jessica Pierce, and I am thrilled again to be here today. And we're going to talk about your career journey. So I would love to tell my story on how Career Connectors got started. So I am the CEO, the original founder and CEO of Career Connectors. And I started because I didn't have a job either. And so I was working at a large corporation out here. I live in Arizona, and I was working at a large company here, was there for 10 years, loved my time at that company. And then the company laid off 10,000 people. So our entire department got let go. Then when I left, I decided to launch a staffing firm. I was in HR and training, but I decided to launch a staffing firm and did that in 2007. And then 2008 and 9, we had what most of you probably remember as the Great Recession. And so what happened then was all of our clients were in land development and commercial real estate. And if you are in a state like Arizona, especially some of the border states, anyone that was in any kind of land development, commercial real estate, finance, anything, pretty much closed up shop in some fashion. So we lost all of our clients overnight. May of 2009, the banks completely stopped lending. And so we closed our doors. And my husband, who at the time was a recruiter, was laid off 3 times in 6 months. And so there we are in 2009, sitting at the kitchen table, looking at each other, going, what is happening? Neither of us have jobs. We have 3 kids. And at the time, our kids were, we had an infant, a 2-year-old, and a 10-year-old. Our house was going into short sale. And if you ask our kids or the story now, they'll be like, yeah, we were scared. We were the next ones for sale. Like everything, we were doing everything we could to keep our home and to feed our family. And so we were talking through, what are we going to do? It was really difficult to find a job. And we went to bed one night, and I woke up with just this, I don't know, burden, I guess you would call it. And I said, oh my gosh, when I look around, so many people are laid off and not working. And these are people that have never experienced a career transition before, or, they went from college to working and they've never had to find a job or look for a job. And I just saw so many of my friends completely frozen. And so I was like, I at least know how to help put together a resume and help some people network. And so I called my local church and said, hey, can I have a room in the back of the church on Monday nights? I want to help a couple people write resumes. And they said, yes, we are getting inundated with calls. And so from there, I started a weekly meeting. We were running about 25 people, helping people put together resumes. Then I called my really good friend, Denise, and she's on the call today, called her and said, Denise, these people need jobs. It's great that I'm helping them with their resumes, but people need jobs. She works with a lot of wonderful employers and they're rated best companies, and her organization is Best Companies AZ. And so I knew she was well connected and networked. And I said, can you help me find some companies that are hiring and bring them in? And she did. And so we started bringing companies in. And then one day we had brought a company in that was hiring 3,000 people, and word got out. And so hundreds of people showed up to our event. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And so that's the day it exploded. And it was October of 2009. And that's when things changed. I realized, okay, this is really a need in the community. And so I pulled together a leadership team and we started running this program. And we were running it in Phoenix, and we grew to 5 locations throughout Phoenix Metro. And then COVID hit in 2020. So we'd been doing it 11 years. COVID hit and we went fully online. Well, when we went online, what that did was it gave us the opportunity to expand nationally. And so now we're serving people all over the nation. Thank you all for being here. I saw a lot of people from different states on our call today. And so we are located in Arizona, but we do serve nationally. And it is my greatest pleasure now to be able to run this organization. We've served over 75,000 people in the time we're doing this. And the reason I'm telling you this, one, this is true. This is my story. Your job search story is obviously different. Everyone's going to have a different story. I don't know exactly the situation you're in, but I know how I felt when I was going through it, and it felt desperate, and it felt lonely. And the one thing I don't want anyone to ever feel when they're going through career transition is desperate or lonely. And I said, at least we could help people that are having a hard time. And so there is hope, because I can tell you now, had I not been laid off from my corporate job that I liked, from my corporate job, I would have never left. If I would have never left, I would have never had the opportunity to do something like this that I have this deep, deep passion for. And I'm so grateful that happened. So everybody's story is different, but I can tell you there may be a day you look back and go, I needed to leave that job. I needed to do something different. I needed to get control of my life. I needed to do something that, I want to leave a legacy. And you don't have to leave your legacy through your work. You can do that other ways. But that's what I want to talk about today, is how do you target what you want to do? How do you choose the career path? And oftentimes when I talk to people about career transition and how I would recommend they handle their career change, people sometimes don't believe me that it could work this way. And so you might hear something a little different today, and that's good. And I hope it lands, and I hope that you will take what we talk about today and move forward with it. And maybe, just maybe, try it, because it works. It works, it works, it works. I've seen it work with thousands of people. So these are the topics we're going to go through today. And it's really going to be on targeting your career and how do you move forward to land it in 2025 and have the career that you want and the career you desire. I am going to talk about some trends that are going on. We're going to talk into some, I'm going to talk about some data-driven job search strategies and how you expand your influence through your job search. While you're job searching, you want to expand your influence so you meet more people, so you meet the right person. And then we'll go through some resources at the end. All right, so the first thing I want to do is ask you to take a moment to get a piece of paper and a pencil. I run women's group on Wednesday nights and twice a month. And these are all women business owners. And one of the things we did last night in our meeting was one of the ladies, we have a training component each meeting. And this training component was around vision board. So she did a vision board, showed us how to do a vision board. And I'd never done a vision board. I'm not creative. I'm not talented that way, but she showed us a super simple way. And one of the things she had us do was evaluate all the areas in our life. And then she had us doing it on paper and pencil. Paper, pencil, I'm not familiar. Exactly. She had us doing it on paper and pencil. So if you hear something or see something, there's a certain percentage that you're going to remember, okay? If you put it down digitally, and like you hear it and then you put it on your phone or you text it or you type it or something, take a guess at putting it in digital, how much you remember. What percentage of data that you get in when you put it on your phone or you put it on your computer, how much percentage do you think you get? How much do you remember just by putting it on your phone?
40%.
Yeah. So it's a 40%, it's 35, 40%. That's exactly the number. If you write it down, paper and pencil, paper and pen, if you write it, Kevin, that's good. 100% because computer never forgets. Yeah, but you do. You have to know to go look for it. But if you write it down, paper and pen, what do you think the percentage is that you remember?
70.
What do you think? All right, it is. It's 78 to 80% is what the data tells us. So that's why I'm like, write it down. Really. And so recently, so her name was Jen, and she, Jen Graffis, and she ran us through this whole process. And so she had us write it all down. And it was pretty awesome. I wonder if I have it here. I don't have it right here, but it was pretty amazing that how she did it. And I remember my whole circle and all the numbers. And so and over the last 6 months, I've been journaling a lot more. I'm not a journaler, but I have been journaling, and it really is interesting to see what I do remember. So I encourage you to write it down. All that to say, write it down. So I want you to write down a couple things. We're going to do a skills assessment, and I'm going to have you think through some of your skills. Okay, I want you to think about what you're really good at, some of the skills that you have, and I'm going to give you a list in here in just a minute. And I also want you to think about, what do you enjoy doing? What do you like doing? I want you to think about what your goals are. All right, so those are some thoughts. I'm just going to put some thoughts in your head for a minute, and I'm going to give you a moment in just a minute to write some things down. And then we're going to talk about how you align to a company, the values that you have. All right, so let's start with skills and strengths. Here is a sample list of technical skills and professional skills. And I just want you to take a minute here and kind of scan through. And this is a sampling. This is not every technical skill out there. This is not every professional skill out there. But I wanted to help you get your brain moving, your thoughts moving around, what am I really good at? So what I'd like you to do, if you did get out your paper and pen, is write down a couple of these or other ones that you have. What are some top technical skills that you have? What are some top professional skills you have? Sometimes people think they don't have any technical skills, but as I was, putting this together and thinking through all the different kinds, it's not just tech. So think about, do you do anything on social media? Do you do anything with like design, graphic design, or anything like that? Are you a project manager? Do you know Microsoft software systems like Excel, Word, PowerPoint, those kind of things? Do you know how to use a cell phone and utilize apps? Okay, what technical skills do you have? Are you proficient, or do you know how to use AI tools, which we're going to talk about today? And Justin's going to really go into AI tools. Those are all technical skills. And guess what? You can gain a technical skill in about 1 day. Like you just need to go get some training and learn it. So not all technical skills, obviously, but some of them are very quick. So write down, what are some of the technical skills? Professional skills. And you might have heard of soft skills. That's the same thing. The market is changing their language around these skills. They're calling them professional skills is what I've heard more often and often, getting away from the word soft skills because they're required, they're necessary. So some of them, the other word I'm hearing are, can't remember, required skills. I can't remember exactly what it is, but professional skills seems to be the one that I hear over and over. 2 of the top professional skills that employers are looking for right now. Communication skills, hands down, always. That is always probably going to be a thing. So are you able to talk to people, look them in the eye, have a conversation? Are you able to send professional emails? Are you able to speak? Maybe it's not public speaking, but maybe it's at least speaking to a small group. I hear that we've heard that public speaking is one of the top fears among people. And so maybe it's just speaking in front of a handful of people in staff meetings, but what professional skills do you have? I got an email this morning that was so incredibly rude. And I was like, wow, this is somebody that's looking for a job and they're mad at us because they couldn't get on the call this morning, but they were trying to get on the call at the wrong time. And I thought, okay, I understand being frustrated, but when you send an email, a scathing email to anybody, it can be anybody, you have to remember you're representing yourself, period. And so we always have to think about what kind of how are we communicating with people through social media, email, face-to-face, or texting. I mean, it can all be misconstrued. So is that really a great skill you have? It is desired. The number 2 skill is data analysis. So I have it over on technical skills. That's not necessarily the same thing. Those are data analysis tools. What I'm talking about and what employers are telling us right now is the ability to understand information, read it, understand it, think through it, and process it, and then come back with like the ability to understand what the data said or what the information said. Here's an example. So there's a huge influx, change in the marketplace going on right now with artificial intelligence. It's a really great tool and it needs to be, you need to try to use it. I don't know how else to say it. Like, I remember 10 years ago when I was begging people to use LinkedIn and they didn't believe me. And I'm like, you need to use it. You must, for the job search. Same thing here. You must start utilizing AI because everyone's going to be using it. It's just going to be a thing that's going to happen. And so the ability to put information into a tool like AI, read what comes out, understand what it says, but know that what comes out of AI isn't perfect, isn't always right. Most of the time it's not actually. You need to think about it and see if it makes sense. That is a very important skill that is happening in the marketplace right now, and employers are begging people to be able to do that. Somebody dropped in the chat that critical thinking, same, very similar. Are you able to think critically? So these are the skills, right? What are your top skills? That's what I want you to think about as you define, what you're good at and what you want, and as you target the next job. So now think through, what do you want? What kind of role do you want? So on your piece of paper, you wrote down a couple skills. Now I want you to think about the types of positions that you want. So if you are, let's say you're an accountant, Do you want to stay in finance? Or do you want to do something else? And this is the moment that you need to take a deep breath and be okay if what you've always done is not what you want to do in the future. I was working with this gal. She had been an accountant for 23 years. And she was, we were going through an assessment. I had her take the DISC assessment, which we're going to provide you guys a DISC assessment, a link to a DISC assessment that's free, that will help you understand some of your key behavioral traits. But I had her take this DISC assessment and before I met with her. Then I met with her to help her look at her resume and create her job search plan. And I said, you know, your DISC assessment doesn't match what a typical accountant would normally look like. Doesn't mean you're not a great accountant, just means it doesn't match the typical behavior style of an accountant. So a typical accountant behavior style shows something like very detail oriented, process oriented. Those are the kind of the higher marks. And those were kind of low on hers, and her higher marks were like driven to achieve results, outgoing, creative, things like that. So I said, it just doesn't seem to match. Can you tell me about that? I'll tell you what, you guys, it stopped her in her tracks. And she took the deepest breath, and I could hear it. We were on the phone, we weren't on Zoom. I could hear it in her voice, and she goes, I hate accounting. And I was like, wow, okay, you've been doing it for 23 years. And she said, yeah. And I said, okay, why? Why have you been doing accounting for 23 years? And get this, you guys. She said, when I was graduating high school, my dad said accounting was a good, stable career and I should do it. And that's what she got her degree in. And she's hated her work life for 23 years. I said to her, okay, I'm so sorry this happened to you. You don't have to be an accountant, but you can use those skills to do something different. So I started asking her questions. What did you like about your job? Because I'm sure there was something you liked. And so we dove in. She really liked doing implementations. Like she liked to travel and meet with people and run project teams and implement different things when she had the chance. And she always raised her hand and always signed up for everything like that. And so you guys, what we did is we rewrote her resume and we rewrote her LinkedIn profile to be targeted to project management, implementation specialists, things like that, SAP implementation, things like that, that she really liked. And she landed in a job like that and was thrilled and loved it and was making more money and was excited about it and loved her work. That's all she had to do is make a shift. Make a shift. She used her skills, but she made a shift. And that's what I'm asking you to do. Identify your skills and define what you are excited about. What kind of work do you want to do? Now, don't think I'm saying you have to leave here and you have to have your dream job. That is not what I'm saying, because a lot of times we don't get our dream jobs. Our dream jobs is a job that pays the bills, that I can be home with my kids on time, and I don't have to travel an hour each way. That's my dream job. That's great. What is that? So that also is something I want you to think about. What are your non-negotiables? What are the things that you're like, I have to be home when my kids get out of school? My kids are older now. They're 16, 18, and 26. So like they're driving. They're barely home. But when they were little and when they were through, until they were driving, like I wanted to be here. I wanted to be home when they got home, because we know that between the hours of after school and about 5:30 is when the craziness can happen. So I always wanted to be here, and that was important to me. So what are your non-negotiables? Write those down. Write those down. So you should have your skills. You should have some ideas on your ideal career. And then what are your non-negotiables? Are they a certain salary? Are they flexibility? Do you love to travel? You can't travel right now? Is that one, like zero travel? Do you need to work remotely? Write down your non-negotiables, because if you write them down now, then when the opportunities come and you're applying for jobs, then you're not going to waver. You're not going to be like, oh, I'll just go to the interview, even though they say it's 80% travel, maybe I can talk to them about 30% travel. Not going to happen. Okay. If you're applying for a road warrior job, it's not going to happen if you go in there and go 30%. Okay. So write down those non-negotiables. Okay, so that's how you start. That's how you start to really clarify what kind of job you want. Again, in the email after this, you will get a link to the DISC assessment, and I saw Kitty in the chat dropped in the link as well. That will help you understand your ideal career or job work environment, some really great strengths you have, and it can help you clarify some of those behavior traits. Okay, now, after you do that, spend time doing that, the next thing you need to do is do some research. So I'm going to give you some samples on the type of research you're looking at. So just baseline, unemployment across the United States is at 4.2% right now. And the data goes to November. They lag a little, about 6 weeks on data from the national standpoint on this kind of stuff. So we don't have the December, all of 2024 yet, but this was as of November of 2024. But unemployment is about 4.2%. It hasn't changed much from about June on, around 4%. I'm in Arizona. Arizona's a little lower. We're at 3.4% right now. And but I want you all to see the growing industries. So the growing industries are on the left-hand side. Again, this is a snapshot of Arizona on the bottom portion, because every state is very different. And so what I would encourage you to do is, if you are in a different state, go to your governor's office website. That's where I find the best data, because I feel like the data on bls.org is just really difficult to understand. And so if you go to your governor's website, most of the time they will have something around economic development or jobs or job reports. So go to that site. For Arizona, it's OEO, Office of Economic Opportunity.gov. But wherever, or AZ, OEO, I think. But anyway, go to your governor's website and find the tab around jobs, and it will tell you your growing industries. So Arizona health services, and actually healthcare nationally, is supposed to have 45% of the job gains. So like, that is an industry that is growing. Professional and business services, that is like finance and insurance, support type of services, manufacturing. So those are some of the ones in Arizona that are growing. And so when you find that data, you want to start, hey, okay, maybe my industry is, going away, or it's less, or it's changing so much that I need to look at some of these other industries. Another industry that we all have to be aware of is AI. That industry is going to grow $407 billion by 2027, you guys. That's 2 years. This was an industry, most of us didn't even know what those words were a year ago. So AI, artificial intelligence, that if you're interested in that, take a look, because it is growing and needed, desperately needed. Some of the other trends that you want to see or need to know about are Gen Z. That is people who were born from 97 to 2013. Guess what? They're in the marketplace. 27% of our workforce now. So I'm a Gen Xer. So if you're a Gen X, you might go to an interview with a 22-year-old, and they may be interviewing you, and you have to be okay with that. And you actually have to be ready for that. So we can't dismiss this group of professionals that are now in the marketplace. 27%. My son is 26 years old. He lives in South Carolina now, Charleston. I'm super jealous, actually. He lives in Charleston, and he is a chemical engineer at a company, and he runs a staff of about 30 techs. And I'm like, okay, like, we got to take these no longer kids these professionals seriously. They're here. And so understand that we're having to adapt just like they are having to adapt. AI is growing, digital literacy. If you do not have those skills, please, I am begging you, spend some time gaining some of those skills. There are so many tools online available now for you to upskill your digital literacy. Again, we will send out an email that'll have a PDF with some that'll help specifically for your job search, but any kind of digital literacy tools are really going to be needed. And then, of course, the remote workforce is not going away. It may change. It is changing, rather. We are seeing an uptick in the hybrid workforce. So companies are wanting people to come in maybe a day a week or for meetings. So we are seeing a little bit going away from full remote to hybrid. There is a trend there, but it's still flexibility is key. And then there is a focus on mental health, which is something that the employers are working on. So that's a great shift to see in the marketplace. Here are some of the technology platforms that you may be interested in trying out if you haven't yet. Of course, we have a whole bunch of job search tools that are available. LinkedIn, we tell everyone you must be on LinkedIn. It's really important. And it's a great way to network. The job boards. Listen in, if you have not, this might be something that is new to you. For job boards, write these words down. Write down your industry. Maybe you have 2 or 3 industries. Write down your industry and then write down the word job board. So if you wrote down finance, job board, technology, job board, write those words down. And then what I want you to do later today is I want you to take those 3 words and drop it into Google. Drop it into Google, because what will happen is niche job boards will come up. And these job boards are specific to that industry. And it's going to give you a lot better content and job options than maybe a huge board like Indeed. Because what Indeed does, it's a crawler. It goes out there and it grabs all of these jobs and they get posted on their site. And many times those jobs are not even current. Or, you know, you got to watch out for spam type of jobs. And so the niche job boards are really targeted. So I do a lot of hiring for churches and ministry, and we use a job board called Church Staffing. And that almost exclusively, like, we don't even post on the big job boards because we get so many people that apply that aren't familiar with ministry. And for ministry, you really have to have some understanding of ministry to work in ministry. And so we use the niche ones because that's where people in ministry go. So it's called whatever your industry is, and then just write down job board. Okay. Some of the AI tools that are out there. ChatGPT is, I think, probably the largest one right now that's used. And then there are some other ones you can check out, and you're going to hear about in a little bit. And then as far as salary negotiation, Glassdoor and PayScale are really good. We get the question all the time. How do I negotiate my salary? What do I know? Those are 2 good tools that are available. Salary.com is another one. All right. Justin's going to jump into this in a little bit, but the 4 tools on the right-hand side are just some ones that he has recommended before that we'll go into again. But if you are not utilizing AI, it's not scary and it's not hard. So all you have to do is jump on a browser and start using it. And that will even help you do things that I was talking about here. You can even take things like portions of your DISC assessment and drop it into AI and ask, what are some of your key strengths? And it will tell you. So you can utilize it, and you should utilize it. And I'm going to just move on because I know Justin's going to spend more time on this. Okay. So before you start the whole resume, I know people are like, let's get into the resume. And I just want to see something. Okay. I know a lot of you want to really write one resume, get it done, and use that resume for everything. What I recommend, and I think many of our resume writers will recommend and have recommended is have a base resume, a foundational resume where you have everything written down. And then each time you go to apply for a job, you target that resume, you change it, and you apply for the particular job you are going for. And that is really based on keywords. What is the job description asking for? And how can you target your resume to that job? And then if they offer up a cover letter or an area that you can write something, or maybe you're sending an email, that's where you can kind of put your couple sentence pitch about, your passions or your skills or the things you wrote down that you want to do in your career. All those things you wrote down, that can be part of that piece. But your resume really needs to be targeted to the job. And just some of the quick basics on a resume is font size. You want to be, they tell us about 10 to 12 font size, and then they really like Arial and Calibri as the type. Nothing with little feet on it. So that's sans. Anything with sans, you stay away from that because it's hard to read. 2-ish pages is good. If you get it all in one, that's fine. If you need to go into a third page because you've had a long career, that's fine too. But don't let anyone tell you have to have a 1-page resume, and don't let anyone tell you have to have a 3-page resume. It is different, but 2-ish is kind of a good number depending on as far as length. And then chronological, that means you must list your experience from most current down for maybe 10 to 15 years. You don't want to go much further than that. But, most current job with your accomplishments and some bullet points, and then the next job. And so you want to go chronological. That is what employers look for. And then make sure your contact information is current on your resume. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times I've gone to email or call a candidate and contact information is not there. And also, don't put it in the header of your document. So if you pull up your Word document, your resume, and you have to double click to get into your contact information, like at the top, then your contact information is in the header and it cannot be read by the applicant tracking software. So make sure it's not embedded in that header. So those are just a couple quick tips because we always get questions, but the professionals, the resume writers that know really what they're talking about, that I learned this stuff from, will be in the breakout rooms if you have specific questions on your resume. We will be doing a resume panel in upcoming, and that's where they'll really go through some details of the resume. And we have some previous webinars that we've done on resumes available on our website. And we also on Tuesday have a resume workshop coming up, and with Lori Norris, and she's phenomenal. And so we have a whole bunch of different options for you guys. Okay, your online presence. So we talked a little bit about resume. Now let's talk a little bit about your online presence. The online presence is important, not just LinkedIn, but all of your stuff. Okay, so on LinkedIn, you definitely want to have a full LinkedIn profile targeted towards the career that you're searching for, including all your skills and information in recommendations. But also you want to look at, if you're on social media in any capacity, you want to make sure you do a quick scrub of your social media. So when I say that, what I mean is companies will Google you. They will look you up when they're going through the interview process. And if you have some stuff on social media that is questionable, just think, if you're thinking like a hiring manager, they're looking at your stuff going, is that how we want someone representing our company? And so do a scrub. Election is over. We have inauguration coming. People have a lot of opinions about this. And if you're in career transition and you're looking for a job, I would maybe not really post a lot about that stuff right now because it's divisive. It's your call. I'm not telling you what to do, but it is your call, because a company may see your profile and be like, oh, that's somebody we want to hire because maybe you believe similar, or heck no, we're not going to hire somebody. Or more likely, and this is what happens, you guys, is it's neutral. They just look at your stuff and they're like, oh, we don't want somebody that's divisive representing our company, regardless of your belief system. So Google your name, go out to Google, put your name in and see what pops up. Because what pops up for you is what's going to pop up for other companies when they're doing a scrub of your name. So do that. And then if you have a specific skill set to showcase, then you may want to create your own website. Now you can do a lot of that through LinkedIn because they allow you to upload presentations and put videos and stuff. Absolutely fine. Do it all on LinkedIn. But if you want to show, maybe you do graphic design or I actually hire a lot of worship leaders. So I'm always asking for their links and their information. Or if you're a tech person or whatever, you may want to have your own dedicated website. And that's a great option too. Okay, you guys, so here's where it gets different. For my recommendation for you in your job search plan. So now that you kind of have a baseline of, hey, this is what I might be looking for, or at least you know how to go about it. You're going to need to spend more time, I'm sure. But now that you kind of know, maybe this is what I'm targeting, what I'm looking for, and what I want to do. Now you've also done a little bit of research about industries that are growing. And you also have kind of a basic resume and a LinkedIn profile that you're building out. Now, what I want you to do, and if you've zoned out, I want you to tune in, listen up, listen up. I want you to create a list of 10 to 20 companies that you want to work for. So the way you do that is through some research. We are on what, January 9th today? January 9th, we're beginning of the year. You can take a day to spend doing some research. That is going to some of the websites I mentioned. That's going to these niche job boards that I mentioned. Go to these places, see the type of companies that are hiring and research them. I know all of us live in, different states, different areas. What are some of the big companies around you that you've always thought, oh, I would love to work for them? Why? Why would you love to work for them? Is there something they've done, or you've just heard that it's a big company and they provide great benefits? Like, find out. So do the research, go on to their website, go on to their social media, go on to their job board, and find out why you want to work at some of these companies. Go and make that list of 10 to 20 companies. There are so many reasons that you want to have the list. I'll talk through some of them, but create the list, because one of the reasons is if and when you do land a job or an interview with that company, you're gonna, when they ask you, why do you want to work here? Or when they greet you, you're just gonna come off so excited because they're on your list of 10 to 20. And you're there, you're interviewing with them. You're going to be able to say, I love what you post on social media. I love what you guys do for the community. The way you have career pipelines available for your staff, like you're going to know that, and you're going to want to work there. So you're going to be excited about it. I can't tell you how many times I've interviewed people and I'll be like, hey, why do you want to work here? And they're like, oh, I just saw it posted and it seems like a great place to work. That is so lame. Don't ever say that. Know something about the company. Know why you want to work there. So you're going to create your list and 10 to 20 companies, and then you're going to go start connecting. You're going to find people that work there, whether it's through LinkedIn or networking, conversations, and you're going to connect with people that work there. And then you can start applying for jobs, but not only applying for jobs, but you're going to be able to ask people to refer you to the company. And that is the power of this list, because you can use it to target, you'll use it to apply for sure. And when you're talking to people and networking and they're like, hey, what kind of job do you want? So many people will say, I'm not really sure, or I'll take anything. And again, that's a terrible answer. But what if you say, I'll just use me for an example. What if you say, oh, I've heard great things about Intel and I live, 5 minutes from there, and I was doing some research and I see all this stuff they do for the community, and they create these hubs for kids to understand technology. And I would love to have an impact in that Intel. And I understand they have, hybrid opportunities for working at home, and like, I'm able to say all these things, right? When someone asks me, and then I can go ask somebody, can you refer me into Intel? And people who are referred into a company have such a higher rate of response in getting an interview than somebody who just applies through a job board. So that is the reason. It will get you targeted. It will get you moving forward. And when someone says, what do you want to do? You're going to be able to say, well, I have a list of companies and here's one of them I'm really interested. Do you know anyone that works there? That is so helpful to you, but also to the person you're talking to. Because when you're asking somebody for help or they want to help you with their job search, it's really puts them in a tough space when they don't have like a job that they can offer. But if they can offer you a connection, absolutely. Most people will do it, especially people that know you. Here's the thing. When you lose your job, or I lose my job, or someone loses their job, the first thing we want to do is jump on Indeed, jump on Monster, and just start applying like crazy. That's the first thing we want to do. It's our instinct. It's our fear jumping into our body and going, I need a job. And it's the last thing you want to do. It's the first thing most of us do, but it's the last thing you should do, because employers always start on the top of this chart. And this is the oldest chart in the world. And I haven't been able to find a better one, but I've used it for 10 years because it still makes sense. Employers start with, hey, who do I know? Who's in my network? Especially when they have really good jobs. So if you have hired before, can you drop a 1 in the chat if you have ever hired anybody before, or been a hiring manager, or had to interview people for jobs? Okay, yes, Patricia, yeah, Karen, Michael, all of you, Bobby, yes, everybody. So many of you have hired before. Think about when you go to a hire, think about a really good job that you had to hire somebody for. You're like, oh, this is a great job. Someone would love this job. Most of us will go, this is a really great job. Who do I know? Do I know anyone? Do I know anyone that would be great at this job? So first thing we do we go out and post a job on the job board? Not usually, not yet. We think, who do we know? And then we're like, okay, if I don't know anyone, maybe I better get, this job description together. I'll get it posted. That's our process, whatever we have to do it. But then you maybe start sending it out to some friends or colleagues. My friend Denise, who is on the line right now, will occasionally send me an email and be like, hey, this company is hiring for this job. It's a really important job. Do you know anyone? And so it's prior work relationships. It's friends, it's colleagues. This is how they want to hire. And that's not what we do. What we do as a job seeker, we jump on a job board and we start pressing send, submit. Well, flip that. How can we get in front of the employer at the top? And that is through your targeted list of 10 to 20 and starting to connect with people. I have had so many people tell me, Jessica, that won't work. And I tell them, test me on this. Because when you get focused and you start going after a company or companies, the doors will start to open, because it's not even necessarily going to be just those 10 to 20 companies. But when you start talking about your skill set and what you do and why you want to work at a company, other companies are going to be interested in that, and people will refer you to other companies. It's how it happens. My friend Anthony did not believe me. He just did not believe me that this would work. And he fought me on it for months. I was teaching some classes, some job search classes. And he kept showing up to my classes, but he wouldn't trust me with the process. He wanted to do it like he had heard to do it, like other people had told him to do it. Get your resume done and submit jobs online on Monster and Indeed. And so finally, it was like 4 months in, and he came up to me after a session one day, and I had gotten to know him a little bit, and so we kind of had this funny relationship that was just friends and buddies and whatever, and joking with each other. And he said to me, he goes, "All right, Jessica." And I'm like, "Yes, Anthony." He goes, "I'm gonna try your way." I'm like, "Okay, try my way." And so he's like, "I don't believe you." And I go, "That's fine. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to do anything I say, but try it." And he goes, "Okay, I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to try it." So what he did is, so 4 months of job searching. This was a professional. He had been in manufacturing. He was a manufacturing manager, had been doing this for 4 months. He finally decided to create his list, to write down all the things I walked you guys through today, and then to create his list and network and start reaching out to people that were either connected to the company, or that could introduce him to the company. And he started connecting with those people in these various ways that I have on the slide right in front of you right now. He attended a couple of events. He connected with people on LinkedIn, all these different ways. A professional organization. He joined a professional organization. So that was month 4. He came back month 5, you guys, 1 month later. And at another event I was running, and he said to me, "It works." And I go, He goes, "I have 2 job offers on the table right now, both making exceptionally more money than I was ever making before." He goes, "People responded when I asked them, would they meet with me or would they talk with me?" He goes, "Not everybody, but people, and people do connect on LinkedIn. They want to connect with you." And so by him targeting, he was able to land a job at one of these companies. We talked through him. He picked one of them and took that job and loved it. And I think he was there for let me think. He was there for about 6 years. So this was a little while ago, and has a different role now, but it's a higher level job, even better than he had before. So it works. You have to do the work, but it works. And so I encourage you to network and connect with people. And once you start expanding your network and connecting with people, your opportunities it's just going to go wide open. About 75% of jobs are actually landed through some type of networking. That's the number. We hear anything from about 65% to 80% around how many jobs are landed through networking. And that means talking to somebody, connecting on LinkedIn, going to one of these conferences, meeting people, stepping outside of your comfort zone, asking somebody for coffee. Do that. Reach out to people and ask for support. Many will respond and help you. Not everybody, but many will, because oftentimes they have been in a similar place that you have been in. So what I want you to do to implement your plan is to figure out, one, are you going to do this? Because some people won't, and that's okay. Some people won't, and that's okay. But if you want to land a job you want, for a company you desire to work for that meets your criteria, then do this. Write down your skill sets, your focus, your what you want to do. Get that written down and really understand that. Maybe ask some friends, ask some colleagues. This is what I'm thinking about. What do you think? Then put your list together of 10 to 20 companies and figure out, who do I want to work for? And then get a little uncomfortable with asking people for connections, asking people for assistance, asking people for help to make an introduction, and track, are you doing it? And stay persistent, because if you're in active job search right now, act like it's your job. Get up, take a shower, put your clothes on, nice clothes on, get ready and attack your day, and do it for so many hours. Maybe your time is 3 hours. Maybe you can go 6 hours, whatever it is. Attack your day, get it done, and then, take the rest of the night off. Because what we tend to do is constantly just get it in our head and get really worried and fear-based on, I need money, I need a job, I need a job. But if you're in action, things are going to start happening. You're going to start talking to people. You're going to get interviews. So here are some of the resources I mentioned. Again, some of these are Arizona, but any state, you can go Florida, governor's office, economic development, Iowa, Office of Economic Opportunity, or Iowa Governor's Office, Economic Opportunity, anything like that. You can also type in, I'm going to put this in the chat, WIOA. So there is a federal law called the Workforce Investment and Opportunity Act. All you need to know is WIOA. If you type in, let's see, Nebraska, WIOA, you're going to get a whole bunch of resources for that state that fall under that WIOA law. And so every state has support services for job search. That is one of the ways that you can do it. We have Arizona at Work. That's what we have in Arizona. Anybody can access pipelineaz.com. That is a great website for trying to figure out your career path. I don't love it for the job side, applying for jobs, but I really like it for trying to understand skill sets, skill strengths, and your career pathway. So that's a good one. These will all be included in the email you guys are going to get later today. All right. This is QR code is just my information for you. We will be sending out an email afterwards that has the link to this webinar, that has a PDF of a job search plan, the stuff I walked through today, that will be on there as well. And so that's what I have for you today. Thank you all so much for engaging. I will jump over to the chat when Justin is talking and start to answer anything that didn't get answered before. And we're just so glad you all are here and got a chance. And I am telling you, this stuff works. And don't be shy about connecting. Don't be shy about connecting with people on LinkedIn, and don't be shy at this time of your life about asking for assistance and support, because people are there to help you. Thank you so much for being here today. And I now get to jump over and introduce my good friend, Justin, and he has been with us. Hang on one second, Wendy, I'm going to give you my remote, I think. Stop remote control, I think. And so that you have it, and then that will move me away. Okay, sorry, I have a couple different things going on at the same time today. So Justin, I'm just so glad you're here. He is a distinguished career coach known for his unparalleled ability to help individuals recognize and communicate their value. Affectionately referred to as Job Coach Justin, he thrives on the success of his clients, cherishing the moment they say, I got a job. With over 20 years of experience, Justin has coached thousands of people, providing valuable insights and effective interviewing techniques in the pursuit of meaningful careers. His dynamic approach and empathetic nature have made him a sought-after public speaker and facilitator. He is currently serving as the Director of Career Services at BYU, and he leads a team of career coaches, guiding students through the complexities of the modern job market. His expertise extends beyond the classroom. He shared his knowledge and passion for career development with many interviews on radio, television, and newspaper, and has also made notable appearances on platforms such as the Lisa Show podcast. And you can connect with him on LinkedIn as well. He has put his LinkedIn URL in there a couple times. Justin is dedicated to his clients and his profession, has solidified his reputation as a trusted advisor in career development. And Justin has been serving with Career Connectors as a volunteer and a keynote speaker, gosh, for like 12 years or something, a long time. And so he's just wonderful. Thank you, Justin, for being here. Over to you.
Thank you. It is my pleasure. And we do not have nearly enough time for me to go into all of the pieces that I want to talk to you about, but we have scheduled a larger, I'll be a keynote later on, I believe it's August, where we'll get even more in detail with this. So we are going to do a really high level AI chat right now. And for those of you who are not familiar, Jessica mentioned it just a little bit. And I even put in the chat, I was answering questions along with the other coaches. I put in some links. Just yesterday, there were all sorts of news outlets picking up information from the World Economic Forum. Some of their key takeaways that I want you to be aware of as we dive into this AI what why. And you can move to the next screen for me. But really, their key takeaways, some global companies plan to workforce reductions by 2030 due to AI automation. What does that mean? That means some jobs are going away. Does it mean your job's going away? Not necessarily, but be aware of that. Some of the ones that they were talking about that are most likely to go away, data entry, administrative assistant, those types of things that AI is going to be able to take over within the next 5 years. Many companies plan on reskilling their employees. In the report, which is I'll send a link later. They talk about out of 100 employees, 50 plus are going to need reskilling around AI. So if you're thinking of making a career transition, AI and its use and navigating that and managing it could be a career shift for you. So just saying. At minimum, they say AI skills are increasingly in demand, with 70% planning to hire AI specialists. So that's between 2025 and 2030, the next 5 years. Start now. If that's something that I'm going to encourage you to play with today, and you find out that this is something you're interested in, there is a huge demand and lots of money that follows it. So there you go. First tip of the day. Now, let's go ahead and just take a look. Well, what is AI? Some of you are on this call and saying, I'm really not familiar. Well, it's time to get familiar. So it's basically, what is a computer able to do or mimic that typically a human was able to do? So what happens too is artificial intelligence it learns every time information is input. And so when this exploded mainstream last year, it's incredible to me where we are just in this past year, where so many people have been adding information. One of the softwares that we use at our university is an AI software for resumes. It reviews all the resumes and compares it to those across all industries, and then gives feedback on what you should do to tweak or change your resume in order to be competitive. And it's amazing because the more resumes it gets, the smarter it gets. So super interesting on that. Let's go ahead and move to the next screen. Jessica mentioned these, so I don't have to mention them, but these are big, large language models that are available for you to use. There's no cost to you unless you choose to delve into them a little bit more. So yes, we've got ChatGPT, probably the largest use at this point. Copilot for Microsoft, Gemini for Google, and then Claude is one that a lot of education folks are using. But still, I've played with all of them. They all do have their pros and cons. I'm going to ask you to play with them and find out what works for you and what doesn't work. Part of the knowledge base you need to have is, where does AI fall short? And we'll talk about that in just a minute. Let's go ahead and go to the next screen. With this is ChatGPT. I use dark mode, so if you use light mode, yours will show up lighter. But you'll notice they all start to look a little bit similar. Right down at the bottom, there's the message ChatGPT, but it gives you some prompts on, here are some things that you can do with ChatGPT. Literally, all you have to do is go to the prompt bar at the bottom and type in what it is that you're looking for, you're curious about, you're interested in learning, and it will immediately start generating some information. Let's go quickly through the next few slides, because all I've done is show you this is Copilot from Microsoft. The next one is going to be Google. Notice how similar they all are. What I do love is in the middle of, toward the bottom of this one, it says humans review some saved chats to improve Google AI. All of them have this message at some point in their feedback saying, maybe you don't trust this information, and that's a good thing. In other words, these are, again, computer generated. So you will want to fact check the information that you are getting. There was a really funny early on, there was an attorney that used AI to work on a court case and submitted some of that and then found out that the facts were all wrong and probably got disbarred. I don't know. I didn't follow it up. But don't let that be you. Make sure that you fact check. Let's go ahead and go to the next screen. Okay, so let's talk about some of the strengths and limitations that come through this. We'll start with the strengths. With that, Jessica already mentioned, great for idea generation or brainstorming. Really fantastic at producing a wide variety of outputs based on what you type in and in a very short amount of time. For some of you who have not played with this before, you're going to probably have a little light bulb moment when you see just how quickly. In fact, one of you mentioned in the chat, hey, what do I say to recruiters once I identify them on LinkedIn or something? Ask that exact same question to one of these AI or large language models and look at the information that you get. Then vet it and then streamline it for yourself. But you'll find that that can be super helpful. Also, in summarizing information. So if you are looking at employers and you want to summarize information, you can literally copy and paste that 3, 5, 12-page document, their annual report, and you can throw it into ChatGPT or any of these models and say, summarize this using the Pareto, give me the 20% that is going to make 80% of the difference. And it will do that within seconds. It's absolutely electrifying. Great at drafting and writing. So when we're talking about resumes, cover letters, bullet statements that you're slaving over, industry language, all of these things are really easy to use when you're using these large language models. You just put the information into the prompt. It could be as simple as give me 5 bullet statements that would catch a recruiter's eye for manufacturing and engineering in the whatever industry, technology industry. And then you can compare that information to what you have written on your resume. Are you saying what might catch their eye? Are there pieces that you want to meld or move into what you've already written? So drafting, super great. Again, it's a great starting place, helps you overcome that writer's block or get your mind or your gears turning. You can ask it to suggest sentence structure, punctuation, identifying patterns, or making all sorts of information that would be useful to you. You can also use it in data analysis and recognizing patterns. So let's say this. You find 10 jobs across the country in an area that you're interested in, and you want to know what are the key factors that every single one of them are looking for. So literally, you just cut and paste those job descriptions into your AI model and say, give me the top 5, the top 10 things that every single one of these companies is looking for in their job description. And in seconds, it's going to return that to you so that you know how to focus your resume and what you're talking about, not only to get their attention, but to get past the applicant tracking system. If you're not aware of an applicant tracking system or an ATS, anytime it's saying cut and paste your resume here or apply online, chances are it's going to be going through a filter, which is a computer called the applicant tracking system. That ATS is looking for keywords and phrases based on what was generated in the job description. So you want to pepper your cover letter, your resume, your thank you, your letters of recommendation with those keywords and phrases. And that's a really easy way for you to find out what those are. Also, strengths, automation of repetitive tasks. So I saw somebody say, I am so tired. I swear I've sent out 50 resumes. I probably have 12 different iterations of it, and I'm tired. It wears me out. I get you. I really get you. Utilize these AI tools to help you target. You can literally put in the job description, put in your resume, and have it do a summary for you of where are my gaps, where are my target areas, and give me suggestions on what I could do, transferable skills to bridge those gaps. It's awesome. Also, there's so many things. I'd love you to start using these as tutorials or as a learning opportunity. So when we were talking about different industries that Jessica put up on the screen, or you went to your Gov site to find out what the economic outlook or jobs outlook looks like, and you started seeing these industries and you're like, I'm not as familiar with that one, literally put it into these models and say, explain this to me as if I were a fourth grader. It is so cool because it's then going to encapsulate the things that you really need to know, and you can dive deeper on the topics that you find most interesting. So lots of strengths there. Let's go to the limitations. Go ahead and taking a look at the limitations, some of the things you need to be aware of. Cross-reference your information. Like that court case I told you about, don't get caught being stupid about AI. Limit your scope. So when you're using AI for preliminary research or brainstorming, rather than for final conclusions or critical decisions, use it as a starting point. I like to say that AI is my jumping off point, my thought sparker. It is not my final submission. It is not the paper that I'm turning in. It's not the resume that I'm turning in. It's basically where I'm generating ideas and doing research. Understanding those limitations, make sure you familiarize yourself. This is where I want you to play with it. I want you to type in something you know a lot about, something that you are very professional in. It was so cool. I watched a podcast recently, or listened to, and it was psychologists. And so they played a game where they had an actual psychologist and they had AI answer the same questions. And it was really intriguing to hear. And then they had another psychologist saying, okay, who's getting the points for what? And really, out of the 10 questions, they both fared very well. What they realized, though, is the psychologist was giving much warmer answers, much more less robotic. And AI was giving, although factual information, it was very cold, it was very sterile. I don't want you to have a cold cover letter. I don't want you to have a sterile resume. I want your personality in that. If you want help with that, because AI is a learning model, what you can do is you can put in some of the things that you've written, and then you can start saying, please make this sound more like me. And then you get to decide whether what AI came up with really does sound like you, or if you just want to do some tweaks and changes. Um, Clarifying your inputs. This is probably the biggest one. I'm going to show you some ways to clarify the inputs before we finish today, but ensure that your prompts are clear, that they're very specific. Ambiguous vague is going to return ambiguous vague. So I'll show you in just a second how you can do that. Also, iterate or reframe. If you didn't get what you wanted the first time, ask it a new way. Ask it a different question. Ask from a different angle. For this, I love to have my students and clients play with being not only the one applying, but then also in the large language model saying, you are a recruiter for this company. You've been doing it for 5 years. You're looking for this role. Please tell this person who submitted their resume things that you want to know more about. And it literally comes up with, oh, okay, well, I'd be interested in this. Tell me about this. Go into more detail here. Super cool ways to do that. Also, staying updated. And it's hard to stay updated. I even struggle to stay updated because AI changes every single day. Like I said, within this past year, what it has learned and what it's capable of are so much farther than where we started even just a year ago. So stay updated, go back in play, see what they're saying now. Feedback. If the platform allows you to, provide feedback on some of the things that you've gotten. For example, I don't like this bullet statement because you know your job. If you put a bullet statement in there and it comes back with something that you're like, no, that's a little off, tell the large language model or the AI what is wrong with that and ask for clarification. Really cool way to do that. And last but not least, when you're doing this, you have such beautiful resources with Career Connectors. Once you have played with this information and you've crafted your resume and you've crafted your cover letter, here's what I'm going to tell you. Applicant tracking systems, most of them are based off of 4 backbones, meaning there are 4 companies who do the backbones for almost every applicant tracking system in the world. So knowing that, they can these applicant tracking systems know if you've used AI in your resume or your cover letter, etc. So I don't recommend that you're doing all of this. It's a starting point, not an ending point. Once you have the information, go ahead and put that information into a Word doc, a Google Doc, whatever, but don't cut and paste straight from AI because those applicant tracking systems will recognize it. Okay, so we're down to prompts. Stay on this slide. Engaging with AI. What are the current job market trends in manufacturing, in HR, in whatever your industry is, especially if you are looking to change industries? That is a super easy prompt to put into AI. It may sound vague to you at this point, but you can always drill down. If you're seeking some guidance, what are some potential career paths for someone with an HR degree in the technology industry? Use that specific prompt in whichever AI model you choose to use and see what it comes back with. Or you can basically ask for information. What are the mid-level salaries for a vice president, or sorry, not a vice president, but maybe a C-suite, a CMO in the healthcare industry in technology? You can also say in Arizona, in New Mexico, in Baltimore, wherever it is that you want to look. These are great prompts for you to start with. Let's go ahead and go to the next screen. More effective search prompts. What are the most sought after programming language for data science roles in the AI industry, in the healthcare industry? This is going to get you far more specific information than perhaps maybe what you've been looking at before. And if this is your expertise, if this is your area, you're going to be able to see what AI comes back with and understand, oh, here's where I'm seeing some limitations. Here's where I'm actually seeing solid content. This one might be helpful for a number of you. Can you provide me examples of companies in, we'll say, Phoenix, Arizona, in Salt Lake City, in Baltimore, Maryland, that are hiring for HR leadership? Check that out because it's probably going to come up with a list of 5 to 10 companies that then you can start doing your research, like Jessica was saying, build a list of companies. And I did put in the chat the 2-hour job search by Steve Dalton, where he provides you expert advice. In fact, you'll notice many colleges and universities across the country are utilizing this book because it's so great about how to go about identifying companies and not wasting time. So there's your AI prompt there. Could you provide me with a well-written example of a cover letter for a marketing role, for an HR role, for a data science role? Just look at what it comes up with. If you were hiring for those, then ask it, what are the gaps? What other areas might be important? So this is the kind of prompting and prompt engineering that I want you to start playing with, not who's hiring in Arizona. Way too broad, way too challenging for you to get solid information. I want you to be more specific. Let's go to the next screen. With this, here's how you can get a pattern that will work for you over and over again. It's RTF. Identify the role. You've heard me say this. You are telling the applicant tracking system who you are and what the role is. You are a recruiter for a mid-level technology firm. You're looking for C-suite, and you want this to be with the engineering or chemical engineering. The task to be completed, it needs to be a senior role. And then the format. Put in the job description, cut and paste the job description. It needs to meet this criteria. And then come back and then put your resume in and say, where does my resume meet these qualifications? Where are the gaps? And how do I bridge those gaps? So again, all you have to remember, RTF. What's the role? What's the task? And the format that you're looking for. Next slide. We're so out of time. So here's what I'm going to do for you. My colleagues here at Brigham Young University in our business school spent time researching ChatGPT and how to best do in prompt engineering for job search, for those conversations with recruiters, for cover letters, all of the things. So really in this QR code, what you're going to get is about a 20 to 30 page document that allows you to read through and or hyperlink to the things that are going to be most important to you. How do I talk to that recruiter? Go use this document. What prompt do I use for generating a resume or even asking for a coffee chat with a recruiter or somebody who's in the field? All of that is encapsulated in this using generative AI for your job search. So free gift to you. I hope that you will use it, but this can be a game changer. Last time I presented this, it wasn't 3 days till I got a response from somebody on LinkedIn who said, I can't believe it. I started using this. It has opened so many opportunities, and I'm already looking at opportunities within my field in a new state, which is so cool. So I would love for you to be able to take this and use it. I'm probably past my time, but with that, just a few remembrances as we go forward. Next slide, please. This summary. So what is AI? It streamlines your search process. It does personal matchmaking. And when I'm talking about matchmaking, I'm talking about job search, tailored job offers or tailored job descriptions or tailored resumes to jobs that you are interested in. Skill enhancement. Funny part is ChatGPT wrote this summary for me. So with that, thank you for the time. Jessica, back to you.
Thank you, thank you. So you see why Justin, we really need him for an hour. We wanted to get some of the AI stuff in today because it's just really changing so much for all of us. So what I'm going to do is go through a couple resources, then we're going to move into breakout sessions. I just want to address a couple things. I was in the chat scrolling through as Justin was talking. We are sending this webinar out as a recording out to you after the event. Sometimes it takes a couple hours to fully download, and then we have to upload it to our site. So usually later this afternoon, the link will be live and you'll be able to watch this back or forward it to somebody or if they need it. And all of our previous recordings are also on our website. So you can go to careerconnectors.org and there's a event recordings section that you can move to and click on, and it'll have everything there for you. Okay, on the next slide, we just want to say, hey, we have a quick survey that we would like to you to take. Oh, I can take control. Thanks, Wendy. We have a quick survey that we'd like you to take, and Wendy's going to drop it in the chat right now. So Wendy, if you could drop that if you haven't yet. If you would take just a moment to click on that link, take our survey. The reason we're asking you for it is because we are a nonprofit organization. And one of the things we do is we work for, or rather Sharon, if you're dropping in the link, one of you, if you could drop the link in, but we use this data to apply for grants. And so we apply for grants so that we can keep the funding going to move forward with the organization. So I don't think it's dropped yet, but when we do drop it, I'll let you guys know and I'll have you complete the survey. Oh, is that it? Okay, I got it. Sorry about that. Sharon just dropped the link. So if you wouldn't mind clicking on that link, going out, it'll take you a minute or two just to answer a couple questions. And we would love to have your feedback. Thank you so much. And then you can always email us at contact@careerconnectors.org if you have any questions or feedback for us. Again, that DISC assessment that I mentioned is on our website. That's the link, careerconnectors.org/DISC. And the webinar recordings are also on our website. So both of those links will be in your email, and they're also available right on our website. We also are on social media, pretty active, especially on our LinkedIn and our LinkedIn group. So if you are not on our LinkedIn group yet, would love to see you join that. And so you can join LinkedIn. We have companies that are posting jobs. We have a lot of information there. I want to thank a couple of our sponsors. We have the Resume Writers and Coaches Association, and they are here. There are a couple of them with us here today. We're answering questions in the chat as well. And you will have access to a couple of them during the breakout sessions. But this group has been supporting and volunteering at Career Connectors since 2009, since we started. And they are just a phenomenal organization, and they are certified every year. They keep current on the trends. They're all trying to understand AI and the impact it has, and how you need to use AI for a lot of research, but also you really need to make sure you're writing your resume. They can answer the questions that you have. So they're going to be available, and we so appreciate them. If you're ever looking for a resume writer outside of this, somebody to actually work with one-on-one, you can go to their website, rwca.org. And then we also, you guys heard me mention Denise a couple times. She is the founder and CEO of Best Companies AZ. A lot of local, but also remote job opportunities with some of the best companies. And this is a list of some of the clients that are hiring and are rated as a best, most admired company to work for. And so you can talk to Denise in the breakout slide, or in the breakout session. And in the breakout session, you'll be able to talk to her about these kind of job opportunities. I saw somebody say, hey, well, you guys are going really fast. You're right, we are going really fast today, but we do provide the webinar so you can play it back and pause and stop on things. There's a lot we're trying to get in today, and leave you time for networking. And then some of the awards that these companies have won are listed here. So thanks, Denise. I see you. Go and say hi to Denise if you have questions about some of the companies that are hiring, or how do you target and work for a best place to work? How do you find those companies? Denise can help you, and that's on a national level, not just Arizona. All right, we have some upcoming events. We do this particular event, a version of this event, where we bring content, we have keynote speakers, and then we have coaches. That type of event happens once a month, typically the first Thursday of every month. And we just did the second Thursday in January because no one was going to come on January 1st or 2nd, whatever. So we normally do the first Thursday. You can see here some of the ones that we have coming up. And again, these are all virtual. And we have new speakers next time talking about how when you're applying to jobs, how you show your impact, your business impact, and how you demonstrate your value. And then we're doing the Red Hot Resume Panel, which is a fantastic, super popular event with our resume writers. And then we're doing a LinkedIn one in April. Now, we also are on a grant with Arizona at Work Pinal County. And what they have offered is for us to open these events up to anyone that would like to attend. And so we created them for Pinal County. However, they are open to anyone. And I am telling you, these are deep dives. And so Lori Norris is teaching our resume writing workshop on Tuesday, January 14th. So this coming Tuesday, and we'll walk you through creating a resume and what to do and what not to do. I'm going to be teaching a job search essentials workshop on January 16th, and we have a whole bunch coming up. So these are also out on our website under events. And if you scroll down, you'll see the full list. And we're doing these for the next couple months. So if you need help on your resume, maybe interview skills, if you need a high-level overview and going into the different areas, I encourage you to jump onto one of these calls. Thank you so much to all of our volunteers. If you are interested in volunteering, please reach out to us at careerconnectors.org/volunteer. We are always looking for support services from helping run our events, administrative support, people that know how to utilize data. We would love you, and thank you to our volunteers on the line today. We appreciate you and are so grateful that you are here with us and supporting this community. If you, when you land, are interested in paying it back, we are a 501c3, and we love to have any support through donations that you have. All right. I am just grateful again, you all are here. Thank you for the engagement in the chat. We are going to get ready to move over to our breakout sessions now. And so, Wendy, if you could go ahead and launch the breakout sessions, I'll give you control back. You can go ahead and launch the breakout sessions. So here's what's going to happen.
Yep.
that,
But
oh, go ahead, Wendy.
I can say, should I open the rooms now or wait till you go through?
Go ahead. She's going to open the rooms, and when we open the rooms, you're going to be able to click on the breakout rooms icon on the bottom and go to the room that you want. Now you may move to different rooms as you like. And so all of our volunteers and speakers, if you could go ahead and click on the breakout rooms icon at the bottom and select the room that you are part of. And then any of our participants may jump over. I'll be in my room in just a minute. I just want to make sure everyone's comfortable with this. And so again, it should be on the bottom of your screen. You should see breakout rooms and click that. And then you can go into the breakout room that you are interested in. And again, you can leave that breakout room at any time and go into the others. If you are Denise, yes, room 7 should be yes. We don't
Yep.
have, I don't see a Best Companies AZ room. So yes,
Yeah, I can try to rename it, but if not, yeah, that's the default. Yep.
go into room 7. Yes. So I'm gonna jump into my room. Wendy, if you could just announce that a couple times so people know room
Yep.
7. And then Justin, do you need help getting into your room? Sometimes it's difficult to see. So Justin said he's going to be here until about 11. And so if you do want to talk to Justin, make sure to jump over to his room. And I'm going to head to my room. And if you have any issues with getting into a room, drop it in the chat where you want to go. And we have Sharon and Wendy that are on the call, our support team, that will help you get into the room that you need to go to. All right. Justin, are you having problems seeing it?
Yep, I am.
Okay. I'm going to put you into your room, right? Whoops.
Thank you.
Yep. Justin. Okay, it should have popped up.
Got it.
Okay. All right, so if you have any issues with going to the room, just put it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself now, and Wendy and Sharon will help you get to the room that you need to go to. And then Wendy and Sharon, if you can kind of keep announcing that here and there and also announce what room 7 is, I would so appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, Rubina, I will be moving you to
Room
Justin's
7.
room.
I'm looking for room 7.
And who is that?
Anna Metzger.
Who?
Anna Metzger.
Anna, you're looking for the Best
Room
AZ.
And yep.
I'm not seeing you on the thing. What's your screen name?
Screen name.
Like, what are you showing up as? I'm not seeing
Probably
Anna
A
Metzger.
Metz. A Metz, maybe. That's
Is
what I
it, could it be M
normally-
Anna?
Anna, yeah.
M Anna, okay.
Yeah, could
Okay,
be.
and I'll put you in, well, I'm putting M Anna in Best Companies AZ.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Join.
This is Mohammed. I would like to go to AZ.
I'm sorry, who's that?
Mohammed.
Mohammed. You want to go to the Best Companies AZ as well?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then Raul, I see you want to go to resume review. Was there a particular one or just any of them? You can unmute yourself, Raul, if you want. Okay, I'm just going to move you to the first one. I think that's Donna's. And then Deanna, let's see, Deanna, to a resume review. Do you have a preference of which one? Okay, I will move you to the second one so we don't fill up the first one. Alrighty, if I've missed anyone, Parthi, did you get into a room? You didn't see a way to join them. Same with Linda.
Yeah, I did not, but I'm joining over the phone.
Okay, so Karthi, I'm not seeing you. So how are you listed? Are you like, there's an iPhone 51? Could that be you?
I sent a message just now.
Oh, wait.
Just says
Right.
Kate.
Oh, Karthi, it does say Karthi. Okay, which room would you like to be in? We have Jessica, the keynote speaker, Justin, the AI, 2 resume review, LinkedIn review, financial coaching, and then Best Companies AZ.
Maybe Justin AI.
Okay, I am sending you there now. Okay, Linda, and feel free to unmute yourself folks, if you want to speak out. If anyone's still looking for a room.
Sorry, can
Yeah, I want to join to AI.
And who is this?
Morning.
Good morning.
This is Chinedu from iPhone 14 Pro Max.
Not, can you say your name one more time?
iPhone.
My name is Chinedu. CH.
Under the display name iPhone.
Oh, under the safe, okay, iPhone, okay, and where did you want to go?
Yeah, I want to go to AI.
AI, okay, gotcha. Sending you there. I'm sorry, someone else was trying to speak, a female voice.
Sorry, this is Lindsay. Could I be in the best places to work, please?
Is this Lindsay Veith?
Veith, yes.
Okay, best places to work, there you go.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sharon, as well.
Linda, what options do I have for the rooms? I know I don't want to go into the AI room. What are the other options?
Okay, you're kind of faint, but I think you're asking me for the rooms. We have the keynote speaker who is Jessica on job search, Justin on AI. We have 2 folks doing resume reviews, LinkedIn review, financial coaching, and best companies AZ.
I'll take the job search room.
Okay, the first one, so the keynote. And are you Linda Karas or Linda Brimage?
Linda Brimage. Thank you.
Linda B. Okay, I'm sending you to Jessica. Alrighty. Any other help needed, folks? Kenya, best places to work. You've already moved, okay. Carolina, do you still need help? Or Carolina, sorry, I don't know. Mary Foot, best places to work. Okay, I'm sending you Mary to best places. Alrighty. And folks, once you go into your breakout room, you can still message to the main room. You can move across different breakout rooms. Just don't leave the meeting. Make sure you leave a room and not the meeting itself, and then you can jump about. If you do leave the meeting, you're welcome to rejoin and we'll let you back in and put you back in a room.